Yo, you listen to More About Something Else. Once again, thank you for listening. And on today's episode, we just talk about self. I feel like that's so important to just talk about yourself. But anyways, if you like the show, please like it, review it, share it. Here's a clip from the show. A part of me thinks life is about self-reflection and learning from your mistakes, making great decisions and suffering from the consequence, to understand and then to be understood. And now that you heard that, let's begin.
First off, I'm going to have to ask you to go and rate this show, maybe even leave a comment. And you could do that on iTunes or SoundCloud, and for Android users, you can now listen via Google Play. Now, this podcast may contain explicit content, just saying, so open your mind, relax, and listen to this dope-ass podcast.
Food for thought, coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest to find more about something else. Hey, food for thought, coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest.
If people don't understand that, well, they don't understand nothing.
Truth spilling, leaving victims to my honest ways. I come in peaks like an alien from outer space. Internet pirates riding waves on your webpage. Download shit, click the link, press play. I don't mean to pray, but I pray every week for myself, for my fam, cause we all gotta eat. Protein, no more sweets. Till I'm caked up on the beach in Belize. Food for thought, coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest to find more about something else. Wait, food for thought, coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest to find more about something else. Wait.
Yo, you listen to More About Something Else. My name is Joshua, and I just want to say thank you to any and everybody that's been rocking with this show. Truly, I really do appreciate you listening. And if you like the show, please do your part. Like it, share it, review it. I really appreciate those type of things. I mean, people come up to me and they're just like, I listened to your podcast. All right. Did you like it? Did you share it? Did you review it? It's those type of things that I ask people. So just do your job. All right. And enjoy the show. But anyways, we are in the month of, I like to say December, but it's the last week in November and we're steadily moving into the end of the year. And one thing that, a lot of people are saying, of course, is that the year is almost over. Let's just cancel it. I don't know. There's still 4 weeks left. 5 weeks if we want to be real. And people have been saying, oh, I'm going to secure the bag next year. Okay. People are saying, oh, I'm going to reach my goals next year. Okay. Y'all been saying this since 2012. How long? How much longer? You see what I'm saying? There is no destination as far as reaching your goals. You can reach your goals, small ones, big ones. But if you're not steadily moving, then your life is shit right now. And I'm going to be really honest with you. There is no destination. To the point where you feel or not even feel but you realize that things are getting better for you. It's you should want more. And I always like to think of things, but in a bigger platform, okay? It's like the fish in a fishbowl analogy, there's a whole ocean. But anyways, look, write down your goals, commit to it, start now. There's no reason to start in January. I can't even take myself seriously if I thought to say, oh, let me just start in January because I get a fresh start. It's a good concept. I really do understand that it's a good concept. But there's a really low percentage of people that actually get through the first month. Maybe the second month, but that's it. But anyways, I like to start off with this. I've been watching this documentary. It's called A Class Divided, and it's just talking about a social experiment done on kids and dividing them up and saying that one group is better than the other, and how they accept those things alter how they are going to live their life. And it was a very interesting documentary because it's just like literally in 2018/19, we're still going through racism and prejudice and discrimination, literally discrimination for black and brown people. But we're going through these things, and you would think that, people are just going to be racist forever, right? You would think that, right? But we're in this weird little time where everybody is becoming quote unquote woke. All right. We're talking about racism and discrimination and how all these things, they really affect us, right? But to realize that this social experiment was done as kids, like, let me let you know that you can go look it up online. You can look it on YouTube. It's a documentary. It's with Jane Elliott, and it's called A Class Divided. And literally, like, I don't know what year they're in, but they divided the classroom, and they told one group of kids that they were blue-eyed and one group of kids that they were brown-eyed. And it was very interesting just from the standpoint of, like, this is literally where it all starts, right? Like, we're so impressionable that when somebody says something, we believe it. And, we're naive, we're young, we don't know no better. But when it's a authoritarian that is telling you these things and how you should live your life and what you should believe in and what you shouldn't believe in and who you should like and who you shouldn't like, it kind of messes with things and how they're supposed to be. Like, trust me, there's a lot of people that don't like black people. Why? I don't know. But for kids to pick up that same behavior, I don't know. And, it just stuck out to me because it's just like, to what point is it going to die down? And I honestly think that racism will never die, because even within racism and discrimination and prejudice, like within the own group of people, let's just say black people, for instance, within that group, there's conflict, there's classism, there's light skin versus dark skin. It's just things like that. And then on top of that, we got tribe versus tribe. So it's just different things like that. There's the Mexican from America that's infused with white people, and I think the politically correct term is Hispanic. I may be wrong. I don't know. But there's Hispanic, and then there's Mexican. And you would think because they speak the same language and they had the same roots that they're the same, but apparently no. A lot of Hispanics actually voted for Trump. Just saying. So you would think that these type of things will die down, right? And they're not. They just won't. So how do you move past these things, right? And I always told myself not to, or not even not to, but to try and understand who people are for who they are, if that makes sense. Like, we don't need to sit here and try to judge people on the way that they look. And I know this is like some type of second grade lecture about judging people on the content of their character and not what they look like, because it's so important at the end of the day. Like, I'll believe who you are if you speak to me. I won't believe who you are just based on your looks, because that just doesn't make sense to me. I remember there was somebody that I think I was in the 8th grade, or probably 7th grade. And he just looked mean and whatever. And like, I actually went to go talk to him, and he was actually one of the coolest people ever. And it's just things like that. Like, don't think in your head, just do. But anyways, check out that documentary. It's a really good documentary. A Class Divided. And if you can't find it, just type in Jane Elliott. It's the white woman that's yelling at all the other white women and telling them how racist they are. And it's so awesome. It's so awesome. But Once again, we are here. Things that bother me this week. Um, Recently there was something that happened, I believe it was this week, about uh, a young man, 27 years old, that went on a missionary trip to an island. And let me let you know that it was a forbidden island. You know, you're not allowed to do these things. If they say forbidden, they mean forbidden for a reason. It means don't go there. It means you're not supposed to even look that way. And my whole thing about this, and it's a really big issue, right? Is that especially when it comes to religion, is that people come in the name of God or people come in the name of Jesus Christ, and it's just like I don't really like that because not all is true. First of all, um, believe it or not, like there's a lot of Christians that are self-serving, right? Like, God, look at me, you know? So this is how I feel about that. Is that it's not that you shouldn't spread the word of God. It's not that you shouldn't talk about Jesus Christ, but know right from wrong. I will not lead my brothers and sisters into a forbidden place in the name of God. You see what I'm saying? Like, nobody in their right mind would even think to do that. And you know, I'm starting to feel I'm feeling less sorry for people that do stupid things because it was a stupid act. Unfortunately, homeboy died, and I just can't feel bad at this point because it's just like, would you go in the name of God, knowing that you may die? I mean, a lot of people are afraid to die, you know? And it's not to say that he didn't expect that, but it's just like, it was forbidden, right? I don't know. Maybe that's just me overreacting. I don't know. Anyways, the other thing that bothered me this week is, it just happened actually. If you don't know, I'm recording on a Sunday evening and, you know, I'm procrastinating, really am procrastinating, trying not to, but I am. So hop on Twitter and, you know, Dwight Howard is trending. And of course, to my knowledge, I thought it was about basketball, you know. Apparently I was wrong. And here we are, we're talking about Dwight Howard and how he was having intercourse with a transsexual or transgender. I'm so sorry. I don't know these pronouns, these gender pronouns and how you're supposed to say it. But transsexual, transgender, one of the two. Okay. So he's been having relations. Apparently he goes that way. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But it was just the way it was done. And it's not the fact that he actually did it. Right? It really isn't, because who cares? Like, whatever you want to do in the privacy of your own home, that's cool. If you want to come out, you want to come out. If you don't want to come out, don't come out. I really don't give a fuck. Right? But my only issue right now is that when it comes down to the trans community, right? You want to be accepted for who you believe you are. But when it comes down to actually exposing somebody, it's all about, oh, let me expose this person. You know? Like, you want to claim one side, but now you want to be in the middle. It doesn't work that way. It's either you go full throttle or you sit back. And that's just my issue with those type of things, because it's just like, why are we trying to progress at the same time we're regressing to stay safe? If you're a woman, say you're a woman, okay? Don't try to sit here and expose people because of how they acted with you. Okay? That's a personal matter. That's not for you to expose anybody. Like, this whole exposing culture that people like to do to try and shame somebody doesn't really work out in the form of fashion, because at the end of the day, you look stupid. And who can truly take you seriously anymore if all you're going to do is expose them? I don't know. Maybe that's just me overthinking it, but it's just like, it's not fair to the people that you are in relations with, right? It's literally kiss and tell. That's not cool. if you wanted to do something about that, I don't know. Like, I don't know the parameters and everything that goes on as far as like telling the police, but it's just like literally that is one of the most truthful options that you could have right now if you truly respected yourself. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm probably overthinking those type of things. But anyways, those are the things that bother me this week. So I was thinking about just different things, right? Throughout the week. And, one question came up to me and, it was just like, why do we desire to be somebody else? Like, why is it so important that we are exactly like the people that we see online or the people that we see on TV or our friends or people in our family? Like, what is that? We don't really actually realize these things until somebody lets us know, or, we have some type of self-awakening. Because I can tell you for myself, and really I can only speak for my own little experience about trying to be a tough guy. And, I'm not a tough guy, but I tried, and I realized that wasn't me. I tried to be mean to people because I thought that's what you're supposed to do. Like, honestly, like, I really thought that you were supposed to be mean to people. And I was just a nice person, And I tried that and it wasn't me, I tried to sag my pants. I tried to do all sorts of things and it wasn't me. And, I think the root cause of everything is that we truly just don't know what we like and who we are. And a lot of us suffer with identity issues. I'm just going to be very honest with you. But it's like, to what point do you owe yourself to be yourself? Like, I've been struggling, I'll keep it 100 with you. I really do try to figure out things about myself and really try to mingle with different people to figure out what I like and to figure out what I don't like. And literally, that's just how things work out. Like, why are we so bent up on having the same goals as somebody else? The one thing that I don't like about immigrant parents is that they all want their children to be the same thing. You may not even have an interest in being a doctor, lawyer, or engineer, right? But your parents made you do it. And it may not just be immigrants, but understand what I'm saying, right? A lot of people die and they never actually realize who they are. They know what they're not, but they don't know who they are. And I think that's the biggest issue right now, and it's what I see. And it's sad because you see people, and I feel like real recognize real, but steadily we still have people trying to be something that they're not. Now, I know I'm just talking about this, right? But is there a resolution to these type of things? I don't know. I truly don't know. I feel like if you want to fix yourself and if you want to do better for yourself, then you will be exactly who you are. I'm going to let you know right now, I don't do things that I don't like doing. I just don't. If I don't like it, it's not even that I have to say anything. I'm just not going to do it. I don't believe anything that I don't feel like I need to believe because it just doesn't make sense to me. Am I going to broadcast that? Probably not. I'm going to keep my thoughts to myself because only me, the person that's speaking, understands what's coming out of my mouth and what's going on in my head. Plain and simple. But once again, what do you do in these type of situations where you are trying to figure yourself out? We got so much going on online that it's just like we barely get to know what we like. It's literally like I'm only going to Miami because I see everybody on Instagram in Miami. Literally, there's nothing to do in Miami besides the beach and probably some small attractions, but that's it. There's nothing to do in California, but go walk on what's that thing called? The walk of fame? I don't know what it's called. But the stars the stars with all the famous people. There's that, smoky little weed. Like, it's just things like that. Like, it's not that much to do, but people make it seem like these things are so good that it's like, okay, well, that's what I want to do. I kid you not, we went to Atlanta one time and they said, let's go to Cascade. If you don't know what Cascade is, watch the movie ATL and you'll know what Cascade is. Truth be told, you don't want to go to Cascade, especially if you're wearing nice things and you're an outsider. Just saying. But it's just things like that. Like, people try to influence you. And it's not people try to influence you. It's just people showing you their life and it looks so fun. And it's like, all right, I want to do that. I mean, it happens. Don't get me wrong. I'm in that same light. But I try to figure out if I like those type of things and if I don't like those type of things. So once again, like, is there a resolution? I would say get off of social media, but that's not always the conclusion to things. Figure out what you like. Whether it's talking through people, whether it's doing something that's different. And that's the major thing that helped me out. It was that I started doing different things, okay? And I started to wonder, like, how would life be if I was doing this all the time? Or how would life be if I was this type of person? And, one of the biggest backlashes that I got as far as like transformation and just being the person that I feel like I need to be, or feel like the person that I should be, is that people will be like, you never used to be like this. What's going on? There was people that was trying to hold me back. And sooner or later, you're going to have to let go of people. And this is not to say, okay, you got to get new friends. This is just saying that it's time to realize who you are. Like, don't waste your time being somebody that you're not. And I don't know how to not be myself anymore. And it's one thing to be yourself when you're okay with how you look on the outside, but it's another level to be yourself on the inside and express that to everybody. Prime example, I don't know if y'all are on Instagram or anything, but go look at Tracee Ellis Ross. Man, she is herself and she is confident about who she is. That is so cool. But that's just an example. Figure out who you want to be. Figure out how you're going to get there and figure out what changes you need to make. I want to segue into this. One of my biggest issues as far as like relationships and just things like that is that people will only love you so far. But it seems like there's people that feel like they need you in their life to love you. And I don't know how that benefits the both of us. And it almost seems like you have to be inseparable to love somebody. And I don't know. What I'm really trying to say is that why is there such this desire to be with somebody? It's not a bad thing to be with anybody. It's just that, do you love yourself enough to be by yourself? Are you going to be happy by yourself? And truth be told, a lot of us will say no. And that's fine. It really is fine. Like, I'm an introvert. I like to be by myself majority of the time. That's just how I operate. That's just how I think. But for many, it's just like they hate to be alone. They hate to sleep alone. How do you find happiness if you're attaching happiness to something else or somebody else? How is that fair to you? truth be told, we're not all going to be here. Somebody may die tomorrow, and that's on you now. So what are you going to do for yourself? And I feel like the root cause is what you need to figure out. It's like, why do I feel like I need somebody to fill that void from within? And you really need to break it down and figure out how to fill that void yourself. Because I feel like that's just so important. I may be wrong, I may be just talking, but I'm 100% serious when I say you need to be able to do things by yourself. Because I just see a lot of things and a lot of people, and it just doesn't work out the way they want it to work. Like, I've been in a relationship, been tied down to somebody, and at the end of the day, it didn't work out. And from my own personal experience, I was just like, it's like somebody just cut my heart in half, and I'm literally bleeding. Literally. It was like I couldn't breathe. It was like I couldn't do anything. I remember I was at work and people were just asking what's wrong. People never really ask me what's wrong, unless I'm tired, of course. People never ask me what's wrong. And for the time being, it felt like I couldn't be myself without this person. Now, why is that? Did I give that person too much of my heart? Did I give that person too much equity? What was it? And sometimes I start to realize that I didn't really love myself for who I was. I didn't think that life would be easy without this person. And here we are in 2018/19, I guess you could say that. I'm living better than I ever did. And sometimes I feel like it takes those type of things, like a heartbreak, to really put things together for you. I really do. Some people will never experience what I experienced, and that's okay. Because we all go through different experiences. But to what extent are you going to seek happiness for yourself and to make sure that you live the life that you're supposed to live? Because I feel like that's just so important. But it's something to think about. Whether you're in a relationship or whether you're not in a relationship, I think it matters to figure out who you are, figure out what you like, and figure out what makes you happy, and keep that from within you. Because literally you're building up so much. And if you don't continue to build, then life just gets hard after this. Trust me, I know. Say, man, if you really like the show, and I assume that you like it because you're still listening to the show, but if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And if you are subscribed, please, 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 write us a review. It helps people find the show, for one, and it also gives people an idea of what's going on in the show without actually listening. So, it attracts other people, and I'm just asking, if you don't want to, it's cool. If you do, God bless you. Now back to the show. Life is a mystery, right? It truly is. And we could say it's a mystery, but it is a gift. We do receive it every day. We wake up, we receive life. And it comes to my attention that, we truly don't understand what life is, right? Like, I've been trying to sum it up in the most simplest form ever. And it's really hard. It really is hard. Like, I don't know how to do it. But a part of me thinks life is about self-reflection and learning from your mistakes, making great decisions and suffering from the consequence, to understand and then to be understood. Like, That sounds so good, but it's like you just never really know what you're getting. Like you never really know what life has in store for you. Why? I don't know. We all go through trials and tribulations. And that's the scary part because it's literally we don't all go through the same thing. And to think that you have won the war, nah. It's not that you have won the war, it's that you have won the battle. Literally, as I see myself going into troubles, I also see myself coming out of trouble, but I also see myself falling back into trouble. Like, it's very easy for somebody to say, I made it out. All right, what's next? At the end of the day, life is going to throw so much at you. And it's not that you can't handle it. It's how you perceive things and how are you going to resolve things. Like, there is no paradise island, you know. There is no place where you can live comfortably. The fact that we in America have ambulance and we can get cured from any type of disease or whatever. We're living in a first world country. The fact that that's accessible now, but in other countries it's not, oh man, it sucks. It truly does. But then you gotta ask yourself, like, well, how do I truly live my life? So what does life truly mean at the end of the day? I mean, I think I summed it up in the perfect form. And what are you struggling with right now? Because I think that's so important as far as like reaching the next level. And it's something that I also realize is that people get trapped on one obstacle their entire life or for 40 years of their life. And if you really think about it, that sucks. How would you feel if you're in the same maze and all your friends and all your family have made it to their third or fourth maze because they figured it out? Don't get left behind, is what I tell folks. I've had to drop people because they just weren't appreciating life for what it was. It's not that I think that it's not fair. It's not that I was trying to be mean, but it was just like, yo, we have advanced. What are you going to do? And to be honest, you're going to have to treat that with a lot of people. Sad to say, but it's the truth. What are you struggling with? And how are you going to fix that? We can identify these problems, right? We really can. But it's one thing to identify them. It's another thing to show forth action upon fixing these issues. Like a lot of people are all talk. How we're talking about New Year's resolutions and how we want to better ourselves and how we're going to stop attracting certain people to us. But yeah, here we are. You still attracting the same dude. And you still over here saying dudes ain't shit. I mean, it's just things like that. How serious are you going to be about things? And like, my mom always told me what's worth doing is worth doing well. That makes sense, right? It makes a lot of sense. To do the things that you feel like are worth so much to you, to do them well. So if life means so much to you, like if you care about your life, then why don't you live your life well? Like a lot of people will be like, oh, you know, I have tomorrow. Sometimes you don't have tomorrow. A lot of people die. And, you know, that's the scariest part about this is that people literally die and we're out here thinking that we have tomorrow. What are you going to do to change yourself? You know, this is not to be like, oh, you have to change yourself, but if you don't take the first step, then you'll never take it. You've been wanting to lose weight for the longest, and you keep telling yourself that you're going to start on Monday. I don't know, man. I really don't. It's not the best way to see things. You've been telling yourself that you've been wanting to start this business, start this side hustle, go to church, these things. Like, you say you want to do it, but it's just like, do you really want to do it? Like, how serious are you going to take yourself? Like, I know myself. I know that I have to take certain measures to do certain things because I know myself. I know I will backfire. So to make sure that I don't, I just got to do what I got to do, right? But it's those type of things where it's just like, okay, I know myself enough to know how to maneuver myself, if that makes sense. Figure things out for what you want them to be, and life will be a lot sweeter for you. One of the things that I struggle with right now is, I love to eat out from time to time. As much as I say I don't, I just love to, man. I love going to Asian restaurants. I love going to Thai restaurants. I love going to get some pizza, and I struggle with that. But I also lift weights, and I also want to have some sort of aesthetics when it comes to like my body stature. And, I know it just doesn't help me. It just doesn't. It actually regresses me, and it actually makes me sluggish. But I got to figure it out, right? I have to figure it out. It's those type of things. It's just like, once again, it's like what you're doing, if it's worth it, then do it well. And those are the type of things you just have to think about as far as like just doing anything. I'm not just talking about one single thing. But anyways, I always like to end the show with words of wisdom. Learn how to handle the winters. They come right after fall. Learn how to take advantage of the spring. Learn how to stop the invader from intruding. All good will be attacked. All values will be defended. Learn to reap the fall with complaint. Learn to reap the fall without an apology. But yeah, you're listening to More About Something Else. Check out the website, moreaboutsomethingelse.com. Please like the show, review it, share it. You can do one or you can do all three. But my name is Joshua, and I'm out.